Here we go. Lesson 8, Session 4. Refine reading and writing decimals. So Session 1, 2, and 3 builds up to us being able to tackle problems that we're going to find on this refine. They're the more difficult ones. I just want to start by saying that this first problem here, Mr. V does not like how it forces your hand at a particular way of solving it, and I'm going to show you how to work around that because I don't think that's ever fair as a mathematician. I think we should be allowed to explore math through our own understanding and our own, reasoning and find a solution that works for us. Granted that the solution is correct and reasonable. So, anyways, this is Coach Lone Tree is 2 and 54 thousandths meters tall. Okay, 2 and 54 thousandths meters tall. Write this height as a decimal. And that's what they're giving you the solution box down here. What they want us to do is they want us to see how to use expanded form to show our work. They're doing something here, okay? So they're taking the word form and they're transferring it into mixed number. Real quick, just like in fourth grade when you did mixed numbers, this right here, like two and 1/10, right? That would be 2 wholes and then the fraction 1/10. So that is 2 and 1 in the tenths place value. You didn't necessarily realize it at the time, but these are the same thing. On the other side of the place value chart, let me focus in over here. Here's our decimal, and this is our ones. This is tenths or 0.1. This is hundredths or 0.01. And then this here is thousandths or 0.001. Okay? Those are both the exact same thing. One is a fraction representation, one is a decimal representation. So with that said, they take this 2 and 54 thousandths and they put it like that for us. Okay? And then they're taking this 2 and they're pulling it away. They're saying this 2, I know it's 2 wholes. I'm going to put it right there and I'm going to deal with this right here. Okay, so they're effectively getting that out of the picture. Okay, the way that they do this frustrates me, but let's try to make sense of what they did by first doing our own solution with this place value chart, because I think this is a better way for you all to understand this. Remember, it said 2 and 54 thousandths. So the number 54, right? 54 is written like this, okay? For it to say thousandths, it has to end in the thousandths place. If it was 5 and a 4 right here, then it'd be 54 hundredths. We got to put a 0 right there, sorry, for a placeholder. Now, let's look at this expanded form as we have it right here, okay? This is 2 of the ones and 5 of the hundredths and 4 of the thousandths place value. Okay? That makes so much more sense than what they're doing over here by taking 54 thousandths. Wait, that's the same thing as that over there, but it's also going to be 50 thousandths plus 4 thousandths. Okay? So they're saying this 54 here, because this is the number 54, we can break it up as 50 and 4. Okay? And then they take it, for whatever reason, they take this distributive property of multiplication and say that 50,000 is the same thing as doing 5 times 10 in the thousandths place value, right? But if we look back at our place value chart, we already see that 5 right there is nestled in the hundreds place value. So some of us might be stuck and have a question right here and say, well, Mr. V, why does that say 5 times 10 over 1,000? Because we only have the tens place value, the hundreds place value, and the thousands place value. That's my problem with this model. Okay. But if we follow it down and we look and we say, okay, so what's it doing from this step to this step? Well, they're saying that 10 over 1,000 is equivalent to 1 over 100. And when we get into our fractions unit, we'll explore that. But I want to show you this. If you have a 0 up here, you can cancel out a 0 down there. Okay? Just pause with me for real quick. This is a different example. If you had 2 zeros, you could cancel out 2 zeros. Okay? Does that, I know this is jumping ahead in the game, which is why I don't appreciate what they did here. But anyways, they get down to 5 of the hundredths and 4 of the thousandths. And look at what we have here. 5 of the hundredths and 4 of the thousandths. Okay? The next thing that they do is they transfer this into the decimal form, that it is 5 of the hundredths and 4 of the thousandths. Okay? Just to show you what you could have done in the very beginning by that right there, by saying that the coach is 2 and 54 thousandths meters tall. So I feel like this right here was a long workaround for what we could have done simply by using our place value chart strategy. So anyways, with that said, let's look at a couple more of these. Let's jump on to question number 2. Carlos measures the length of a sideline of a football field. It is 109 thousandths of a kilometer. Write this length as a decimal and an expanded form. Ooh, so they want decimal and expanded form. Okay, so part A, we're going to have decimal. Part B, or do expanded. And what I'm doing here is I'm setting myself up for success. Okay, before I try to do decimal form, before I try to do expanded form. Okay, look at this question here. How could you represent this number in a place value chart? Bing, bing, bing. Let's go back to our go-to strategy that's been working for us time and time again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we got thousandths place value here. We got hundredths place value here. We got tenths place value here. We got our decimal. And we got ones right there. But let's listen to this number again, okay? And we'll see if we even need this one. So Carlos measures the length of a sideline on a football field. It is 109 thousandths of a kilometer. Is there a whole number? Did it say and? Anywhere in here in this number, did it say something, something, and? The question of that is no. No, so it's 0 holes. Now, 109. When I say that number, 109, I want you to just write it on your paper like a regular old number, 109, just like that. And because it says thousandths, this 9 up right here has to reach all the way over to thousandths, just like that. Okay? So with the place value chart, we just built our decimal form of 0 and 109 thousandths. Yes or no? And you would say yes. So with that said, let's get some expanded form going. This is a 0, so we don't need it. This is a 1, so we need it. This is a 0, so we don't need that. This is a 9, so we need that. How many parentheses do we have? We got 1 here, and we got 1 there. So we got 2 parentheses getting ready to go. We're going to do 1 here, and we got another one coming in right there. Okay? So now, let's look at it. This is 1 of the tenths place value, right? You could circle it if you wanted to. And this is 9 of the thousandths place value. Okay? So, by using the place value chart and our understanding of that word and right there, and that decimal right there, we were able to look at the word form, put our number where it goes with our understanding of where the decimal has to reach out to. We put it in the correct location, and then we could work back and use the expanded form. Okay? Let's look at number 3. A restaurant gives 4.082 kilograms of food waste to a city compost company. Which of the following correctly represents 4.082 or 4 and 82 thousandths? Well, before we do any of this, we have to take this and we have to put it into a place value chart. The reason we do that is because it gives us the most amount of information about this number possible. Okay? When we take the 10 seconds it takes to draw this place value chart, we look at this number in all of its different components. Okay? We take all the mystery out of it. So here we go. We have a 4 here in the ones. There's the decimal. We have 0 in the tenths, 8 in the hundredths, 2 in the thousandths. Okay? So, let's do an expanded form real quick. Let's just do that while we're here. This 4 has a value, so we have to use it. The 0 we do not. The 8 we do, and the 2 we do, right? So let's do an expanded form. Sorry, let me adjust my camera here. There we go. So I have 3 parentheses. We got 1 here. We got another one here. We got our last one here. Okay? Those icons are going to be in the way. Boo. There we go. So our biggest value is 4 in the ones. So we say 4 of the ones. We don't do the 0. We do 8 of the hundredths. Then we do 2 of the thousandths, right? So now let's look up here and make sense of what we got going on. This says 4, okay, that checks out, and 8 in the tenths. Does our number have 8 in the tenths? No. Now, this one says 4 and. Does ours say 4 and? It does. 82 thousandths. This number here, 82. How would you say that number right there? 82, right? What's the furthest place value that it gets to? It gets to the hundredths, and it gets all the way over here to the thousandths. So this is the furthest place value. So 4 and 82 thousandths will be correct. Okay? Now, let's keep going. 4 and 8 and 2 hundredths. This is saying that there's 2 decimal places. And how many decimal places do we have? We just have 1. And let's look down here. This says 4 and 8 of the tenths and 2 of the hundredths. Well, 4 and 0 of the tenths. So this one cannot be correct. And then we see Rachel chose D as the correct answer. How did she get that answer? How did she get that answer? Well, just like the example I did for you all back in, I think, session 1 maybe, this is 4 and 82 somethings. If we didn't know how to get it in its correct place value, what we would do is we would say 4 and 82, right? But this right here has to go all the way out to the thousandths, all right? So I would argue that Rachel didn't use a place value chart, and that's where she went wrong. So I think this video is getting a little bit long. I might make another one to help you out with some more questions on the refined.